You may think that the problem in sexless marriages is not enough sex, but that's not actually the problem. The real problem in sexless marriages is what happens to each partner when there's a desire gap. A desire gap means one partner wants sex more frequently than the other. The desire gap can absolutely kill a relationship if it's not properly handled. It leads to things like loneliness, resentment, infidelity. In fact, lack of intimacy is one of the most common causes of divorce. But by the end of this video, you will understand the desire gap a lot better. You will know what each partner needs, and you'll have some simple steps that you can take right now to start improving your sexual cycle in your relationship. The desire gap is where one partner wants sex more often than the other. So maybe in your relationship, it looks like you wanting sex twice a week and your partner wanting sex once a week. Or maybe it looks like you wanting sex every day and your partner not wanting sex at all. The real problem is the way each of us feels in response to the desire gap. So let's talk about what you, as the higher desire partner, may have been experiencing in your relationship in response to this desire gap. And just so you know, in about a quarter of cases, the higher desire partner is a female. But for the remainder of this video, we're going to talk as though the higher desire partner is a male and the lower desire partner is a female. We're going to take heterosexual relationships. We're going to simplify it this way because in 3/4 of cases, that is the way it plays out. You've likely been the one to initiate sex more often in the relationship, and you've likely been rejected quite a bit. You may have even stopped trying to initiate sex anymore because the rejection stings so badly. When your partner does have sex with you, sometimes you wonder if it's just pity sex, which means you're not getting what you actually need from that sexual encounter, which is connection, feeling wanted, feeling desired, and also fun. You want your partner not to just have sex with you, but to want to have sex with you. You likely feel unwanted, not desired, and totally alone in this aspect of the relationship. You may need physical intimacy in order to feel emotionally close, and your partner may need emotional intimacy in order to feel safe enough to be physically intimate. Oftentimes, this means neither of you are getting your needs met, which again leads to isolation and loneliness. Because the lack of sex in your relationship bothers you more than your partner, you may feel it's up to you to bring it up and try to find solutions. But you might find that talking about sex leads to an argument, or there might be so much negative momentum around sex already that you only talk about it when you're already in an argument, and so there's not usually a good outcome. You probably didn't even know a desire gap existed in your relationship until well into the relationship, maybe 6 months to 2 years, or maybe not even until after you had a baby. Because of that, you feel kind of misled, maybe even lied to. You wonder if she knew this whole time that she wasn't going to want to have sex and just didn't tell you. You feel really hurt and maybe a lot of resentment around this. Or worse, you may think that you're the reason that your partner doesn't want to have sex, which confirms that deep fear. She doesn't actually want you. She doesn't desire you. You may feel so hurt and angry by this cycle that you stop trying to meet her needs, because if your needs aren't being met, then why should you go out of your way to meet hers? You likely have no idea how to talk to your partner about the incredible impact that not having sex has on you as a person, because in the past, when you've tried to bring it up, you may have heard her say things to you like, all you care about is sex. Frankly, it's been left up to you to figure out a solution to this because your partner just isn't that bothered by it. The desire gap is handled in all sorts of different ways, so maybe not every single thing that I said applies to you, but even if any of them do, it's important to share this with your partner and let her know how this is affecting you. And now let's talk about your partner. If you're the lower desire partner in your relationship, you may wonder if there's something wrong with your higher desire partner or if there's something wrong with you. Am I broken? Is there something wrong with me that I don't seem to care about this as much as he thinks I should? Is he a sex addict? You may find yourself saying things to him like, all you care about is sex. You often stop even giving your partner non-sexual touches because you're worried that if you do, if you touch them, if you let them touch you, then it'll lead to something and then you'll have to reject them. So even simple things like hugs and small kisses, small touches throughout the day, you may have drawn a strong boundary around those because it feels so bad to reject your partner. You don't want to have to keep doing it. And a part of you thinks if I draw these strong boundaries, then my partner won't approach me, won't get turned on, won't get led on, and I won't have to reject them. This, of course, is seen by your higher desire partner as more proof that you're just not into them. You may feel pressured to have sex, even if your partner doesn't intentionally pressure you, just because you know how important it is to them. So when you think about sex, there can be a sense of dread, there can be a sense of expectation, simply because of all the momentum that's been built up around this topic. If you do have sex with your partner, you may feel relief, like, okay, great, now we're good for at least a few days or a week or however long it is. But often it starts to feel as though there's a clock ticking then until the next time that your partner is going to try to initiate or expect you to initiate or just want to have sex when you just don't really feel the desire for it. If you're worried that you're the problem, you may have gone to see doctors about it. You may have tried to find solutions on your own, but oftentimes you may still not really understand, why do I feel this way? Or maybe you know very well why you feel that way, but you don't think that there's really a solution to it. If you have young kids, you may just feel way too overwhelmed and overworked to even think about sex. And when your partner is thinking about sex or talking to you about sex or initiating or trying to start something, you may just feel like this is another chore on my to-do list that I don't have energy for. You may wish that your partner understood your need for safety, for support, for doing things slowly, for making you feel wanted and liked and supported throughout the day, for doing things that help ease the burden that you're carrying, even though they have nothing to do with sex. You may wish that your partner understood the link there between you feeling supported and you feeling safe enough to be vulnerable and engage in some kind of a sexual act. You may recognize that your partner feels really lonely, but also feel like your own needs aren't being met. And you don't really know what to do to change the cycle. You just know that sex doesn't feel like the solution to you, even though your partner is telling you that more sex would be the solution for them. As I hope I'm making clear from these descriptions, when the desire gap is not handled effectively, it leads to shame, it leads to blame, it leads to loneliness, distance, isolation. It leads to us not meeting each other's needs, not feeling safe in the relationship, not feeling connected, and eventually really growing apart. So what can we do about it? It's really important to understand that we do adjust for the sake of our relationship. So maybe the way that the desire gap plays out in your relationship is that the lower desire partner just has sex anyway. Even if she's not in the mood, even if she doesn't really feel like it, she has sex anyway because she knows that if she doesn't, it's going to lead to this cycle that doesn't feel good for either of you. But over time, she realizes that she doesn't want to keep doing that to her body. She doesn't want to keep putting herself in that position when her prerequisites for sex are not being met. So it becomes not sustainable because eventually she reaches a point where she can't do it anymore. And then the two of you feel lost and stuck and not sure where to go. In other cases, the higher desire partner just tries to shut down their need for sex. They say, okay, like if my partner doesn't want to have sex, that's fine. I'll just find other ways to meet this need, or I will just ignore that part of me and hope that it goes away. And over time, again, they realize this is not sustainable because that part of them doesn't ever go away. It just gets louder and more insistent. So what we want to do, recognizing that we adjust anyway for the sake of our relationship, is we want to adjust in a more intentional way. We first need to understand a really important thing about the higher desire partner and a really important thing about the lower desire partner. What the higher desire partner wants more than just the act of sex is to not feel so alone when it comes to that part of the relationship. They want to feel like their partner is thinking about it too. They want to feel like if they were to just stop initiating or stop talking about it, that their partner would step up and say, hey, it's been a while. I miss you. Let's do something. They want to know that their lower desire partner is thinking about sex, or at the very least, still finds them really desirable. So there is something that the lower desire partner can do to help their higher desire partner. They can show an interest. Even if it doesn't lead to sex, I'm not saying have more sex necessarily. I'm saying show your partner that you are interested in sex, even if it sounds something like, hey, I know that we're not going to have sex in the near future because we've talked about it and we've decided that, we're going to take it slow when it comes to that. But I just want you to know that I'm really excited for when it does happen. Or I know it doesn't seem like I think about sex that much, but the other day I was thinking about it. I was thinking about you when I was in the shower. Say things that let them know that you're thinking about them, that you find them really sexy and really attractive. More often than not, I hear higher desire partners in my office where I work as a couples and sex therapist say things like, I just want to know that she wants me. I just want to feel desired. Even if she was just to squeeze my butt as she walked past me, that would do something for me. That would help me feel like I'm not alone here. So, lower desire partner, if you want to help your partner feel not so alone, you could start letting them know that you think about them, that you think about sex. Even if you're not able to do it now for whatever reason, just letting them know that they're still really important to you and that you still find them really desirable will do a lot to help your partner feel more connected to you. The second thing that's really important to understand is about the lower desire partner. It's understanding what's impacting the lower desire partner's sex drive. Now, I'm not saying this because I think it's their fault or that they should have a higher sex drive, but I do know that in order to make this desire gap feel more manageable for the partners, it's really important to just own our own part of it. Understanding what's getting in your way can be really helpful. When you understand what's impacting you, you have more options. There are a bunch of things that impact our sex drive, and I'm going to do another video on that, and I'll post it here and in the show notes. But here's what I'll tell you for now. When we're talking about sex in a long-term relationship, we need to understand the lower desire partner. If that person is a woman, we need to understand her sexuality. You can think of a woman's sexuality as a car. If there's anything pressing on the brakes, anything at all, meaning I don't know if I can rely on you. I don't know if I can depend on you. I'm not sure if you're going to be there for me when I need you. I'm feeling overburdened. I'm feeling overworked. I'm feeling so stressed in this relationship. I don't know what to do. If any of these things are happening, it's pressing on the brakes of your partner's sexuality. So if anything is pressing on the brakes, that means that no matter how hard you push that accelerator, that car is not going anywhere. We need to understand what's pressing on the brakes and really target those things, help our partner in those areas of her life. So what the higher desire partner can do here is try to understand what is pressing on the brakes of my lower desire partner. Now, some of these things might be completely out of your control. Some of them might be things like physiological things, biological things, mental health, cultural things, societal things, her own expectations, the way that she has viewed sexuality in the past, the way that sexuality has been expressed or talked about or repressed in her life. Some of these things are going to have nothing to do with you. And that's why it's important for both of you to be on the same page when it comes to this information so that she can go on her own journey of figuring out like, what is going on with me in this aspect? I see that it's really important for my husband or my partner. I know that this is something that would really positively impact our relationship if we could, come to some kind of agreement on it. So what can I do to help understand this part of myself better? If what's pressing on her brakes is a relational thing, maybe there's been an infidelity in your relationship, or maybe there's just some self-doubt that she has that you're actually that into her, or maybe she's feeling overwhelmed and overworked with the kids or with her job or with the housework or whatever it is. What you can do as the higher desire partner is help ask her the right questions and give her space to answer those questions, and then be a support for her in helping her carry out the solution. So you might ask her the question, what do you need in order to feel relaxed and safe enough to have sex? And then you give her some space to answer. You might even text her these questions and then tell her to come to you when she's ready to talk about it. Couples who talk about sex the most tend to have the most sex and the most satisfying sex. So getting used to talking about sex, normalizing talking about sex in your relationship is going to be super important and one of the best skills that you can master. I will have a video explaining how to talk about sex, what questions to ask, how to get that whole thing started. So subscribe and stick around if you want to hear more. I'm Jena Tharani. I'm a couples and sex therapist, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.